Welcome to the Final Point podcast, guys. I'm your host, Adriel, with my co host, Josh, in the
We
building.
are back.
We are back to report to you. A lot of things have happened already since our last episode. Um, so let's go ahead and dive straight into it. The LeBron show is officially over. His time in LA is done. Welcome to the Philadelphia 76ers. Um, who would have thought? I don't. You didn't see this coming. I didn't see this coming. I'm sure a lot of people didn't see this coming. So, me reacting just post from that, I thought it was kind of jarring
Yeah.
as a LeBron fan, just only because he just doesn't have any real ties to Philadelphia. We never saw anything happen from there, so it's a little weird watching him as this is going to be his final team potentially of his career to retire at. So it's kind of an odd thing, but I'm going to kind of keep an open minded to it. We what There are many questions that need to be answered about that roster. Really, the biggest question is how are they going to play and how selfless will everyone else get in line, which I do believe everybody will get in line, but there's things that I'm still kind of skeptic on how it's going to shape up.
Yeah. And you have every right to be skeptic. We all are skeptic on how it's going to turn out in terms of wins. I think I'm more worried about the regular season. Joel Embiid is not really
Yeah,
that dependable. I don't think you can push Braun too much. The fact that they have Jalen Brown, Edgecombe, and Maxi, who are still relatively young, I think that they'll be fine in the regular season. Where Philly's gonna scare people for an upset alert is if they end up in like the seventh or sixth seed.
mm,
They could upset someone with Braun and Embiid going full speed. If Embiid does what he did to us last year, where he fucking just drank some fucking rejuvenating potion and turned into MVP and beat. If he does that in the playoffs and Braun is in playoff Braun mode, watch out because I think they can go all the way, possibly surprise everyone. Because this is what Braun does.
yeah,
This is what, for most of his career, Jalen Brown has done is win.
yeah,
So you're bringing two winners with Embiid, with Maxi Edgecombe. Watch out playoffs. I'm not too worried about the regular season. If they all come to play, but I can see them maybe getting 45 wins, like 50.
yeah. The I'm with you too on that. The regular season is going to be kind of tough for them, only as to their center position questions. Who were It's going to be jarring at first. They're going to have some missteps, I think, in the beginning of the season until they finally figure out how to make it work and make it click. Um, it's going to be interesting, man.
Yeah.
I think the number one way that a lot of teams are going to try to stop Philly if it goes down to playoff environment is they're probably going to try to slow them down, make sure they don't get out on the open court, and try to ISO defend each one of the defenders because I think this is actually gonna try to run a lot more than we think they are. They're gonna be a lot of ball movement, running offense.
That's going to be their bread and butter, but I think you're mistaken if you think you can guard this team one on one,
Hmm.
with the exception of Braun. But Braun in the half court, he's going to create,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's a matter of, does Jalen Brown, Maxi, and Edgecombe all know their roles? And
yes,
and so
that's
that's all going to maybe come. That's why I said regular season, it may be a little bumpy, but like second half of the season and into the playoffs, that team could be rolling.
yeah, yeah.
Like they like a well-oiled machine. And if that's the case, then watch out because remember, they do have firepower coming off the bench. They got Anthony Simons.
Yeah, yeah, and he's pretty underrated.
Right.
And they still have some pieces. So like on paper, their roster is elite level of talent too. Um, we just need to see how it all works and how it all plays in.
Yeah,
And then really the biggest question is Embiid. Can Embiid stay healthy? I know he keeps saying he's healthy, he's ready to go, but I mean, come on, guys. Like, it's obvious he is not the
yeah,
same Embiid. He cannot move as fast as he used to. He's very slow, moves very hobbly sometimes, grabbing rebounds nowadays. It's just, it's not the same Embiid. So we have to kind of take that into consideration uh, with the whole. Oh, and no back to backs as well. No
yeah.
back to backs.
Yeah, if I'm Philly, I'm going low with the Embiid minutes, low with the Braun minutes, and I'm relying on Maxey, Edgecombe, and Brown to get me to the playoffs.
Yeah.
If I'm Philly, I don't care what spot I'm in. Just get me in. Just you got to
Hmm.
get LeBron into the playoffs. Once
Correct.
LeBron's in the playoffs, it's all Braun from there.
Yeah.
And we've seen him do it so many times. So to doubt that, if you're doubting that Philly's even going to make it to the playoffs or this team's going to be bad, you just haven't watched LeBron James' career.
Yeah.
You're either hating on him or you haven't seen his career and some of the teams that he's brought to the promised land.
Yeah.
Now, to talk about something else, the fan bases that got hit real hard here. I don't really. Okay, Cleveland has a legitimate gripe on why they should be mad. I thought LeBron was
Yeah.
done there.
Yeah. Same.
Um, Miami, kind of, because you wanted him to go back for one more run, right? But ultimately, you knew it was kind of like the odds weren't that high.
Yeah.
Even though they looked to be that high, I don't think Miami was in the running that much as you and I have talked about they've been. How Heat Nation thought they were, why not? Why not Bron come back to his second home? But you may argue LA's his second home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, as a Miami Heat fan, I mean, when you saw that decision, that hit hard.
I just thought it was so odd. I just thought it was an odd decision. I saw him going back to Cleveland. I think a lot of Miami fans aren't as hurt by it, but I feel like the ones that really were hurt by it was the Cleveland fans. The Cleveland fans,
Yeah.
I feel like with all the stuff they've been through recently in the playoffs, this was kind of like their golden goose, to get them over the hump. And now they lost out on that. They haven't really made much of any big plays this season either, in the offseason. So now they're just sitting on this James Harden extension. Uh, and they did sign Donovan Mitchell on another extension. So I don't know. I just feel like there's not really much going on right now with Cleveland. I feel like they know their trajectory. They know where they're going to end up this upcoming season. They just want to
Yeah.
see if they can maybe get lucky and get competitive enough. But I feel like they needed to make a change, and they kind of didn't. So yeah, as a Cleveland fan, you're sitting here just thinking like, what's next? Like what is going on?
Well, listen, as much as we give Harden a hard time on this pod, Harden is a regular season player.
Yeah, he
He's,
is
he's been durable the past couple seasons. Him and Mitchell will get you 55 wins, 50 wins. So they're gonna
yeah,
get in the playoffs again. At some
for
point,
sure.
Harden's gonna have to show up at some point in his career.
At least for
Um,
one game.
but the team that they're running it back with, it's not a bad team. I mean, LeBron would have fit absolutely perfect on that team because that three spot. But listen, they're still a legitimate team in the East, and I think they're gonna be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like their bigger concerns is just playoff related because they'll always
Yeah,
make it. They still have a decent enough team to get into the playoffs to be in the mix. So I mean, they'll be all right. But it's just for that fan base. I feel like that fan base took that decision the hardest. And as if I was a Cleveland Cavaliers fan, I would be extremely pissed that he went to Philly over coming back. So especially after hearing that he might not even live in Philadelphia and that whole thing going on. So which I also find kind of weird. It's like why even I don't know. why even go there? You're not gonna live there, not gonna do anything with the city. You're just
Well,
like a free reign mercenary at this point.
no, no. I mean, yes and no, but why he went there? I mean, that's to me that's pretty clear. That's he has a not a version of Kyrie, but he did the same thing in Cleveland when he went and teamed up with Kyrie. Maxi, I think Maxi is that good.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Maxi just needed help, and Maxi just got a whole lot of help.
Yeah,
We're over here talking about JB for MVP. Watch out, Maxi for MVP. That's how good Maxi is. So the reason why he went is pretty obvious to me, dude. He went to go play with Jalen Brown and Tyrese Maxey.
yeah,
I mean, those are some good running mates, as good as it gets, man.
no, yeah,
25, 30 points each.
yep. And a young edge comb.
Yeah, I mean, come on. So we know
With
why he went.
yeah,
I mean, at least listen, I understand why he went. Does it make a lot of sense? No, but I mean, he went where he thinks he can win. And I
yeah.
think they're gonna be able to win.
And I think he just wants that challenge. He just wants to see if he can make another championship run with a team that desperately needed some help. Because if you kind of look at it, every team he's gone to, they kind of needed that push to get him over the hump, and he's been able to deliver most times. So
Right, but in light of LeBron's decision, okay,
yeah,
this is LeBron's decision.
yeah,
You and I have disagreed on if Miami had the roster to pull in LeBron.
yeah,
In light of Bron's decision and his advisors, LeBron looked at every single roster and said, and because now it's out there where he did want to win. Remember, you and I spoke, and I said
yeah,
maybe he doesn't want to win. Maybe he wants to go have fun. Turns out he does want to win. He looked at every roster and said, that's the roster I have the best shot with. Over Miami, over the Warriors. I understand the Warriors. And
yeah,
over Cleveland. I think Cleveland had a lot to do with James Harden. I don't think
yeah.
LeBron wanted to play with James Harden.
Yeah, I don't think that was
Yeah,
that was the point that me and you talked about last time as well about it was I didn't think he wanted to be on the same team with James Harden on
yeah.
board.
I
I
don't think
I
so.
I,
And
I didn't think he wanted that.
yeah, and then I think he looked at the Miami roster and said they didn't do enough. I think if they would have did a couple more moves or maybe one more big move, I
Yeah,
think they would have got Braun. Braun looked at him like I don't think they have enough.
yeah.
I mean, at least make one more move
I think the
if you're him.
uncertainty of Miami is what kind of also pushed him back. But I also do think the way they operate in Miami may not be something he wants to be back in. You know what I mean?
What
Like,
do you mean?
so for example, when players come to Miami, they're down to, certain rules and expectations and all this
But
stuff.
but that's why he left. That's why I was trying to tell you. I don't think he was happy there. That's why he left in the
I
first place.
I feel like if he would have came, Miami would have made exceptions and kind of let
Right.
him do
Yeah.
his thing, but there still would have been an overlying like, "Hey, this is what we got going on. We need you
Remember,
to
this is
abide
not
by
your
this."
team, right? This is
Yes.
not your team. Okay, just letting you know ahead of time,
Yes.
or they were gonna try to get him in there and then try to put the fucking leash on him.
Yeah, and I don't think he
Yeah,
wants to
not
deal with that.
cool.
Yeah,
No, Philly, he's gonna have full reign in Philly.
for sure.
Uh, this is gonna be so much fun, man. I cannot wait for basketball to start, man.
I know, me either.
It's gonna be so much fun, man, watching all these teams.
I I
But
I
okay, this is a good segue though into our next subject, right?
Yeah, so let's go down the power rankings now for the East as they stand today. So, what we're gonna do is we both made lists. We're gonna go through each other's lists, and then after we go through each other's lists, we'll compare them and talk about it, and see where we land and stuff. So,
Let's start at 10. I'll give my
okay,
10th, you give your 10th, and then you give your ninth, I give my ninth. We'll do it that way,
yeah,
and we'll discuss how we got to that, right?
okay, I like that.
Yeah. So if I'm going first, I just want to be clear. I struggled with this list from 10 to about maybe 3 because there's so many variables and so many if factors.
Yeah.
The biggest if factor is going to be my team coming in at number 10. I got Toronto. And I know they picked up Kawhi. This team, if Kawhi is healthy, they have one of the most versatile starting five in the NBA.
Hmm.
And I'm pulling up their roster, but you're talking about quickly Barrett, Kawhi, Barnes, and Podol. They
Solid.
can switch all game. Okay, Barnes doesn't have to carry the load, and Kawhi is a mid is a half court demon if he's
Yeah.
healthy. If he's healthy, dude, you just replaced Brandon Ingram with Kawhi Leonard
And defensively,
with another year of improvement from defensively they're gonna be so good. This team can easily be in the top 5
mhm.
if they play to their potential. And I think Kawhi's gonna be injured most of the season. That's why I have them at number 10.
Okay. Um, so funny enough, I initially had Toronto as 10 as well on my list, but
Uh,
I instantly swapped them off with Orlando actually for the 10th spot.
oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So I
That is
have
the first shock of the pod.
I have
How we
Orlando
differ on that.
on the 10th spot only because I feel like just Orlando has the making of a really good team. Unfortunately, they run into so many injuries season after season after season that I kind of feel like them not really making moves this season after all of the prior seasons of injury related issues um, will kind of have them plagued down in the standings with all the other teams because I do feel like the injuries are just going to happen again. I feel like we've already seen it for 2 seasons now,
Yeah.
2 3 seasons. So I don't see a difference coming from that. Not to say they're not a they're a bad team, but only because of the fact that their injuries will bring them down. Excuse me, down the standings. So
But let's say they were not injured. Where would you have them? Like, let's say they're healthy.
I would have them probably a 6 or 7 seed.
Ouch. All right. Yeah. Okay.
So I have Orlando on my 10th spot.
Okay. Who's your 9?
Atlanta
What? At 9?
at 9. At 9.
Wow.
I feel like they have kind of an interesting team this season. The Kaminga stuff is still kind of up in the air, so we don't really know yet. Uh,
Yeah.
I I feel like where they're gonna struggle really badly this season was probably gonna be shooting. Um, but other than that, Jalen Johnson, he's gonna get you. He's gonna get you some wins. Dyson Daniels is good on defense, but I feel like with all that said, they're gonna have issues just scoring the ball. Other than uh, their guy who had a breakout season last season. Man, that was
Jalen Johnson.
no, not Jalen Johnson. He was on OKC. Alexander Walker. Um, I feel like he came out big for them, especially shooting the ball. But it's just over some of the other teams that have made moves this season and how they're currently constructed. I see the other teams going ahead of Atlanta this season. I still feel like they're going to be in the mix, but I feel like they will just be in the lower ranks of this season.
Wow, man. Yeah, I couldn't disagree more. But yeah, I couldn't disagree more. That's a shocker to me.
Hmm.
Okay. My 9. We'll address that when I put them in my ranking
Okay.
because that's the second shocker of the pod.
Okay.
My 9 is Indiana
Mm.
because what version of Halliburton are we getting back? I mean, listen,
Yes.
if Indiana, like Toronto, if Indiana comes back healthy, they are some dogs.
Hmm.
And they added Zubac, right? And they added my boy, um, the one from Philly. Why am I having a brain fart right now?
Oh,
Kelly Oubre. They
Kelly
added
Oubre.
Oubre to
That
it.
was that was a great pickup.
They added Oubre to that lineup. I think Indiana's going to be really good. I have them at 9 because I don't know how good Halliburton's going to be. But if Halliburton is Halliburton, I mean this team can be in my, this team is in my top 5 easily.
Could yeah, they're a super sneaky team this year, and I feel like a lot of people have them counted out. They are not talking about them ever since they made that Zubac trade. I've been saying that this team with Halliburton, if he comes back the way we remember him to be,
Yeah,
that this team can be very scrappy, very scary to face in a 7-game series. They have the makings of being a really good team.
yeah,
So that even and honestly, even with them with the season they had last year, yes, they lost a lot of games, but they were missing their glue guy the whole season. So I believe that they will be in a lot better spots as well this season once he comes back. Um, Funny enough, I have the Indiana Pacers on my eighth, so right above Atlanta. Um,
okay.
so that's where I had them placed because I was having issues trying to figure out where Atlanta and the Pacers would be, but I had the Pacers being better than Atlanta this year. So I have them on my number 8, and like yeah, I pretty much agree with you on all those points. I think they're a sneaky team.
Oh, okay. Did I have eighth now, or you had them as your eighth? Okay.
Yeah.
M- My eighth is and dude, I didn't want to do this, but they didn't make no moves this offseason. And with their second best player not even signed yet, Detroit Pistons are my number 8
Mm.
because I thought they were going to go out and get another ball handler to
Yeah.
help Cunningham. That was Cunningham's biggest struggle last season and in the playoffs was he was the only one that can handle the ball and create, and they didn't get one. And Duran may leave, even though I think they're gonna probably keep him. Even if they keep him, I still have them at number 8. I just don't see. Listen, maybe Cunningham has another MVP type season,
Hmm.
and they can easily end up in top 5. But right now, I have no faith in that lineup because teams already scout them. They've already scouted them. They know you got to just wear down Cunningham. If Cunningham's not 25 and 10, 25 and 12 and 8, like they're not beating you. You know what I mean? Like they're not going to beat you if he's not doing that. And I don't think he can do that the whole season and in the playoffs, which is why I think they're number 8. I think there's a few teams that will outperform them come playoffs.
Yeah. Um, that's actually a pretty interesting. I get your reasoning, and I kind of agree with you on it. But we'll talk more once you see where I have Detroit ranked on my ranking. Um, but I do half agree with you about them. I do feel like they should have made a move this season, and the fact that they didn't go for exactly what you said, a ball handler, is is pretty amazing, honestly, because they desperately need one. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna move to who I had on seventh. I got Charlotte sneaking into the seventh spot this season.
You got Charlotte?
I have Charlotte as on the seventh spot. I think that now with Lamelo out, they now have a more cohesive team. I think now they have given the reins to their shooter and their young star Brandon Miller, who, if healthy, can really take that team to a new level. Um, they have a lot of nice young pieces. They kept Colby still on the team, who had a great season for them, and he's their Swiss Army knife off the bench. Um, so they're a scrappy young team with some really nice young guys. Knuppel is definitely one of the best shooters
You have
that's
Charlotte where?
on the seventh seed.
Wow, I don't even have Charlotte on my list.
Oh, yes,
I don't even
yes.
have them on my list. That's
I think
crazy.
I think Charlotte is gonna surprise a lot of people now with them showcasing Brandon Miller and Knuppel. Um, Now I feel like they just have like a more cohesive team. I felt like with LaMelo and Knuppel and Brandon Miller was kind of like they were trying to take turns. Now I feel like they have clarity, a more cohesive front court now. So I feel like they're gonna surprise a lot of people this year.
The reasons you just mentioned are the reasons why I don't even have them in my top 10. I think there was a huge mistake letting go of LaMelo after the end of year that they had. You got to
Hmm.
keep that team together because they were just starting to cook.
Yeah,
Where's the scoring gonna come from in terms of someone facilitating and creating? Who's gonna do that? Um, I don't know. Yes, Kobe White, but we saw Kobe White in Chicago.
yeah,
He's not a point guard.
for sure.
He's a shooter.
Yeah.
Brandon Miller's a shooter. Con Knippel's a shooter.
Hmm.
Where's the facilitating going to come from? We don't know. That's why I don't even have them making the playoffs. I think this team's going to struggle to win. They're going to struggle to win games that they're going to be close. They're going to stay close. There's going to be even some games where they're up and they're going to lose the lead
Yeah.
because you can't stay hot the whole game and you can't stay hot for multiple games, and they're going to lose a lot of games, but they're going to be fun to watch. They're going to be
Yeah.
one of my league pass favorites
Yeah.
because I'm such a big Brandon Miller fan and Con
Yeah.
Knuppel, but I don't think it was the right choice keeping Kobe and then getting rid of LaMelo. You got to keep a point guard.
Yeah. Yeah. I I it's just I kind of get I understand why they did the move that they did. And I feel like I mean, like we said, there's a lot of variables that can play
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
But I think as if you're trusting in Brandon Miller and Concanipple, I feel like that's a start, or at least the basis of a really good young team outlook. So I feel like they're going to be in the mix. They're actually I think they're if Brandon Miller is healthy this year, I think they can be in the mix with a lot of the better
right.
teams.
I
So
think you hit the nail on the head. You said young, and usually young teams don't win. That's that's just what it is until they learn how to
yeah,
win.
exactly.
But yeah, we should see. So that was your sixth.
The seventh.
That was your seventh. My seventh is your Miami Heat.
Okay.
The reason why I struggle with this because I actually had Miami at one point at 10,
Yeah.
but the reason why I have them at 10 is because like Detroit, they didn't make any move outside of Giannis. Uh, I have zero confidence in their top three. It's going to be Giannis and Bam. I don't have any confidence that those three are going to get them wins. Will they eventually end up getting it together? 100%. Do I want to see them in the playoffs? Absolutely not. Will Spo figure it out? 100%. But if none of that happens, this team can easily be in the play-in again. If Wiggins does not show the fuck up, Mitchell does not make a leap, and they're relying on Pell Larson. I mean, listen, Pell Larson's a nice player, but Pell Larson's a bench player right now. He's going
Yeah.
to have to play a starter role. Maybe he rises to the occasion. Maybe we get the MVP Giannis from 2021. He has something to prove. You know, he's kind of like he's kind of like been like revitalized,
Yeah.
re-energized. And if Bam is re-energized, watch out. This team easily in my top 5.
Yeah.
But like Toronto, like Detroit, like Indy, I just don't I don't trust that starting 5 until the season starts. If they get on a roll, I'm going to easily be changing my mind.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to. I mean, I get you on that part. It's kind of hard to say too because they're still not fully constructed yet either.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard
But
to.
wait a minute, you think they're still going? I think they're done.
No, no, they're definitely not done.
Okay.
They still have like 3 roster spots to fill. So
Okay. Well,
I
then to be continued, because if they get another scorer, DeMar DeRozan, um, who else is out there?
a Clay Thompson.
I don't have a lot of faith in Clay, man. You know what? Clay may work because of the collapsing of the defense that Giannis is going to cause. Clay may work.
He's still a decent shooter. So I
He's a
feel
decent
like
shooter, but you would need him to be like elite. He has to at 12, 15 a game for you.
yeah,
You know,
exactly.
at least three threes. He has to be good for three threes,
Yeah.
which
Which I
he
mean,
was in Dallas.
yeah. So that I still feel like he has if you give Clay, I feel like a minimal role, I feel I have all confidence. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer, he's professional. He's gonna do and especially in a place like that, with Spo running it, they'll make it work.
Yeah.
They'll make him workable. So
There's some list out there that have the Heat as high as 4.
yeah,
Because it's Giannis and because it's the Miami Heat organization and that they're going to figure it out. So, listen, to be continued. If they're not done, then they're not done. But as of right now, the way that roster is constructed, they can easily be looking at the play-in tournament. If they get into on a run and they lose a bunch of games, um,
yeah,
Giannis is not fully healthy. The team is struggling shooting, which I expect them to. Bam is kind of playing like how Bam usually, just kind of like not really into it. Then yeah, they're gonna easily end up a playing team again.
yeah. Um, that was your 6, right?
That was my 7.
Your 7th. Okay, so for my 6, I have the Cavs as my 6th seed.
Mm.
Um, I feel like they're gonna be just good enough to sneak into the playoffs. Um, and yeah, I mean that's really all I can really say about them. I'm not really excited about their team. I'm not a James Harden fan. Well, early James Harden fan, yes, but now no. Is he the guy that pushes you to the playoffs? No. Um, yeah, I mean that's really all I could really say about the Cavs. There's really nothing much really going on. I just think they'll just be as good enough to get into the playoffs. They will be competitive to play you in a 7-game series, but will ultimately fizzle out, which we saw last season. Um, that's where I got them.
Yeah, that was your 6. At 6, I have Orlando.
Okay.
I think we're forgetting how good Paulo Banchero can be. And I think that the year he had last year, he had to have that year to have the year that he's about to have.
Yeah.
I saw some recent workout videos. He's thinning up. I think we're gonna see a beast unleashed in Central Florida. And if the Wagner brothers are healthy this time, I can see that Magic team finally clicking and at least getting 45 to 50 wins.
Yeah.
And then making some noise in the playoffs because the roster's good. The roster fits. It's a good
Yes.
roster.
Hmm.
Just Paolo had a down year and he picked it up towards the end. But I think we're going to see a different Orlando team come out. Remember, they got rid of their coach,
Yes.
right? So there's a new coach in town. That always helps,
Hmm.
So I have them at 6.
Yeah, that's a realistic spot where I can see them going if they're healthy. Um, a lot of Magic fans I think kind of talk crazy out here. I don't know if it's because they just don't remember the dark days, but
But
them
you're not
want
supposed to remember the dark days, man.
well, it's just that when a lot of the fan base is advocating to trade their best player on their team, um,
Well, listen,
it's just kind
right.
of crazy off of just one down year that he had after already having multiple injuries and still coming back to bring you guys to the playoffs and have good playoff games. And for you guys just to say, you guys still want him traded is just
Well,
it, I
listen,
get it. I get it. The
yeah,
city is hungry. They
right.
got the taste of winning and they want more, and I
Yeah.
understand that. But we
I have a theory on them, dude.
what is it?
I have a theory on the Magic fan base. Don't let them win a championship
No,
because Magic fans are delusional, and as soon as they start winning, they start talking crazy.
real
And
crazy.
I don't think they earned that right to do that. But don't let them get one because we've seen what happened with the OKC fan base.
Yeah.
Those motherfuckers, they don't know anything about basketball. I mean, if you get into a debate with them, the shit they say is so asinine that it's gonna rage bait you because they don't know anything about basketball. That's a football part of the country, but they won,
Yeah.
So now they're like, okay, well, now we got skin in the game. We could talk. So don't let the Magic get one. Is what I'm trying to say
Yeah.
because they're gonna be the most annoying fans
Yeah.
in the NBA.
I'm with you on that one
Yeah.
too. 100%. Um,
So
so
yeah, go ahead.
no, so I was actually going to tell you my fifth seed, and you're going to like this one. I have Miami as my fifth seed,
Top five. They
top
could
five.
easily be in there, dude.
I do think that this team is going to look a lot different. I mean, with with the big changes they've made, which this is what everybody's been advocating for the past 4 years now, always saying, "Hey, Pat Riley hasn't made a move. Pat Riley's asleep. This team's in need of a big change." So now that they've gone for the big swing and made the big ballsy move, now everyone's starting to kind of think, hey, did they give up too much? Hey, is this team going to work? And I understand those arguments because they are valid. But for a player like Giannis, you got to make the trade, you got to make the move, and then you figure it out. And I think this is the right organization to just figure it out. I'm not worried about the shooting. Uh, I am more worried about where are they going to get the backup big minutes and who is going to be their secondary ball handler if either Bam or Giannis is out, like who is handling the ball. Um, you can have that responsibility on Davion Mitchell for a good part of the game, but you're going to need to find someone else who can handle the ball with Davion Mitchell up there and make plays and get your guys into spots to be successful. Now,
Yeah.
um, and the reason why I have him in the top five is that I kind of feel like it's a no-brainer. They're going to be a top defensive team this year. Um, Everyone on this team can guard everyone, all elite defensive players. So I feel like that will play into their schemes better. Is that their defense will lead to their offense now? I don't think we're going to be seeing the same offense we saw last season. I feel like we're going to kind of get back to to their roots, which is defense first and figure the rest out. So and like you said, if this team gets into the playoffs, which I have full confidence they will not make the play in this year. I feel like that those days are over. Unless something, God forbid, goes horribly wrong this season. Um, I think they'll be a top five seed and they'll sneak into the playoffs. But yeah, I have them on my top five.
uh, I think this season, seeing as how close the teams may be, I think we may get an I-95 playoff series.
Oh yeah,
I think it's a possibility this year, seeing as how they're both right there. I mean, I had Miami 7, Orlando 6. You have them 5. Orlando can easily be top 5 if they play right.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, okay. My fifth is Atlanta, man. I love Atlanta. I love what they're doing. I think that team has an identity. I love the fact that they did not hold on to Trey Young for
Yes,
another season.
me too.
Teams make the mistake of holding on for too long, i.e., Milwaukee, i.e., Phoenix, and Golden State. Now, I think Golden State and Phoenix are making a huge mistake. Get what you can for Booker and Curry and move on.
Yeah.
Do it now while they still have value. And I think that Atlanta pulled the trigger on Young while he still had value, and they turned the keys over to Jalen Johnson, who is an absolute stud. They've put the right team around him. I think you build off of Jalen Johnson. I disagree when you said that who's going to score. Dude, this team scores. CJ McCollum is a walking bucket. Jalen
Mhm.
Johnson can score on anybody. We saw it in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And they're just going to get better. So I love what they're doing. I love the structure of the team right now. And I see this team in my top five, easily, possibly even four. De- Depending on how Orlando, Miami, Detroit, and Indy does, you can see Atlanta possibly at 9 or 8.
Yeah.
Barely making the play in, but come playoff time, this team they're going to show up.
Yeah.
So I really really like Atlanta. I have my fifth.
Yeah, I like Atlanta too, which is why I had them kind of like in the mix, just lower in the rankings, only because
Yeah.
I just felt like the other teams might outperform Atlanta this year, just depending on what happens with Kaminga and whatever. But I like Atlanta. I like CJ McCollum. He can get you a bucket, and Jalen Johnson if
Jalen
he takes,
Johnson, bro.
yeah,
Jalen Johnson's a beast, yo.
if Jalen Johnson takes another leap this
Which
year,
I think he's gonna, man.
Yeah, which looks like he could, and he is healthy. He doesn't really get hurt that
Right.
much. So, uh, yeah, I feel like they could be in that mix too. It just kind of depends on how everything else shapes out, but I like them too. I like them a lot.
And listen, also I forgot to mention that they're not fucking around. They got rid of their number one pick too. That
Yeah,
Raza Registrar guy, whatever
yeah.
his name is. So, dude,
Risa
yeah,
City.
dude, they're not messing around, man. They're like, look, we gotta go.
Yeah, it's interesting. Um, so for my fourth pick, I had the Philadelphia 76ers. I have them as my number 4. I think they're going to be they're going to be a top team this year. The elite talent, the elite bench that they have as well. A lot of offense on this team, and Braun's going to make it work. Braun's going to have them in the spots where they need to be. He's going to be primarily your ball handler anyways. Um so I mean, not really much to talk about other than what already we've talked about Philadelphia. But they're definitely going to be a top team this year. If everything goes right, and honestly, they could even still be a top 5 seed even if Embiid's hurt. I feel like they could still, if they put it together early enough, they will have enough wins to put them in that spot. So that's where I have them.
Okay. We touched on on Philly already. But
Yeah,
okay, four is decent. I have the Cavs at four. I think they're running it back with the same team, like I said. Uh, and I like the Cavs lineup. It's a shame that they just don't know how to play in the playoffs. Like
yeah,
they should not be. That team should not be getting blown out in the playoffs on their
hmm
home court, and they did. So, but
and
I
they
think they're
gave
going to
up.
be, yeah, yeah, and they gave up. But I think that team is good enough to be right back in the mix.
Hmm.
That's why I have them at four. They're going to be right there, another contender in the East once again. And let's see where the chips fall.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that and really that's all I'm asking for with this Cavs team is that when you guys make it to the playoffs, can you guys at least show some fight, some grit, some humility, something, a spark?
Yeah.
Because I'm just tired of watching you guys and just watching James Harden just shit the bed every single time. I'm just
Yeah,
He's better than what he performs in these playoff games, and we just as fans we just want to see it. We want to
yeah.
see regular season James Harden in a playoff atmosphere. That's what we
Right,
want to
right.
see. So
Hey, listen, I I will admit on this pod, I selfishly want them to do bad because I feel like they're they're wasting away a really good 4 or 5 duo.
yeah,
I like Mobley and Jared Allen, and they're just wasting away. They should be getting more touches. They should be more involved in the offense.
for sure.
So I think Jared Allen's better than just getting offensive rebounds and putbacks or getting a little dump off pass. And I think Mobley's better than just getting the ball at the end of the when there's no other option.
Yeah,
So I think those two will do better on other teams and other systems. So the selfish part of me wants them to do bad so that Mobley can end up in Boston. Um, or even Jared Allen,
yeah.
because I just feel like they're not using them right. So let's see how that goes. But yeah, the selfish me wants them not to do good. Okay, I said my four. Did you say your four already?
Yes, yeah. I
Okay,
said my fourth.
okay, okay.
You said your fourth. Who was your fourth again? Oh, you had the Cavs, right?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. All right. So you're gonna love my next pick. Um, I have on the third seed, your Boston Celtics.
I do too. Good spot for them.
Okay, yeah. So I'm not. I last season I kind of counted them out and I had them lower. Um, this season I'm not gonna make that mistake. I feel like now there's gonna be more playing time for Pritchard. JT is going to be JT. He's going to be your facilitator, your go-to shot maker. Um, and I just feel like now, they still have an amazing coach, great organization. They still have a makeup of a good team from last year, so they're still going to be competitive. They're still going to be a top defensive team, and they're still going to shoot the lights out. They still have shooting, so I know the Jalen Brown, trade was a big shock and a big hit to the team. But I mean, again, like we've talked about before on this pod, if they can get Paul George to buy in and just make 15 to 18 points a game and be predominantly, for the most part, ha- kind of healthy for most of the season, they're gonna be just fine. I think they'll be just fine.
Yeah.
So I don't really have much to say about the Celtics other than that. I think they're gonna be just fine. They'll somehow make Paul George work, but Paul, they're not gonna let Paul George just walk in here with 2 points a game every night. So they're gonna
Well,
make
he's
him
gonna have to be involved.
serviceable.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna make him serviceable.
Okay. Listen, three is a good spot for them. I was gonna put them at four and put the Cavs at three, just because the Cavs have a more structured lineup. I think the Cavs have more of an identity than the Celtics do right now. We're gonna try to find ourselves. But what put them over the top for me is the fact that if you think about it, we are replacing Jalen Brown, that high ball usage that he had last season, with Jason Tatum.
Exactly.
And it's the same team, except it just got
Yeah.
better because you've given Jason Tatum instead of Jalen Brown, who I will be a lifelong fan of, but he didn't really have the best shot selection sometimes. And I think Paul George is going to know his role. He's going to know his place.
Yes.
And I think Paul George is still very deadly from the three, deadly from the mid. And if we're not asking too much of him, we ask him 15 points and go play some defense. I think Derek White is going to have a come out. Is going to have a bounce back year,
For sure.
and my man Pete Pritch is going to have a come out year because he's been in a cage.
Hmm.
The cage is open, and Pete Pritch is going to fly. And I think that's what puts them at number three.
Yeah.
Is Tatum at the helm with those weapons, the familiarity of most of the team, the coach. I can easily see the Celtics 50-55 wins and getting into the playoffs. Now, where my concerns are is going to be the playoffs. We just don't have the depth.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to be reaching down, and Joe doesn't like to reach too far into the bag. of subs. So that's what has me worried how durable Tatum's going to be. The Celtics could have easily been at number 8 or 7 for me because it does depend on Tatum. I am a bit biased because they're my Celtics, but I got to think Tatum's healthy.
Yeah.
He looks healthy.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're going to push him so hard in the beginning. I think Joe's going to let him go and see how he feels. But the heavy load is going to be on D. White and Payne Pritchard. D. White has a lot of proving to do.
Yeah.
And we didn't trade any of our young assets. We still got Baylor Shireman. We still got my cousin Hugo.
Hugo.
So we got Chris Sinak, who we picked up in draft. I don't know how much playing time he's going to get. And we picked up Mitchell Robinson.
And that's what I was going to say. You guys still have Kada and Mitchell Robinson, who
Right.
Kada outperformed his expectation last season.
100%. Yeah.
And
I expect him to get better.
Yeah. And Mitchell Robinson, he's a scrappy, great defensive big who's going to play hard. So, and that's what they needed. They needed a really good defensive big. Mitchell Robinson gives you that kind of that bouncy, like, interior defense, shot blocking. So that to me is where the Celtics make up for the Jaylen Brown, is that now instead of the bad decision making and high usage, now you're getting a more cohesive rostered team. We just have to see how everything plays out and everything. But yeah, I know. Man, I can't. Thank you, Derek White. I know Derek White had kind of like a bad season last year, shooting wise, but I have all faith he's going to come back. He still has his defensive prowess on him. And also, every year, as they've been letting Pritchard play more and more and more, we've been seeing his numbers go up. And we've also been seeing his productivity and, usage level even higher. So I feel like now he could be one of those sneaky shooters that when a team matches up with them, they just can't control him. He can shoot from anywhere. He can shoot from half court half the time. So I mean, his shooting can play really huge into that Celtics team. So that's why I have him on my third on my list too.
Yeah, and I want to add one more thing.
Yeah.
There's people that are concerned about there's no point guard, right? You're gonna give people the ball. If that's your thinking, then you have a low ball IQ because Jason Tatum is the de facto point guard of that team. You have a 6'8" versatile wing who can pass, shoot, drive. I mean, so it's going to be the Jason Tatum show. Tune the fuck in. We don't need a point guard. Jason Tatum is the point guard. And now it's going to force him to not play with the running gun style that he was playing with Jaylen Brown. I think they were kind of racing for shots. Who's going to get more points? All that's done. Jason Tatum can get 25, 12, and 8. He's going to average that. So there's no way they're going to be out of the top 5. This team's going to win a lot of games, I think, once they get it together. And like I've been saying this whole time, the East is going to be so much fun to watch. The East is deep, man.
Yeah, the East is extremely deep. Now, my number 2 pick, when I first wrote it down, it made sense to me. And then as we've been sitting here discussing about everything, I've been kind of like second guessing myself now. But for number 2, I had Detroit only because I feel like they can replicate a lot of the stuff that they pulled off last season. The Jalen Duren is a big question for them that they still need to get sorted out. But I'm like you. I think he's gonna sign back. I think he's just kind of strong.
I mean, he's a restricted free agent. I mean, they're gonna match it.
Yeah, I think they're just I think he's just trying to strong arm the organization to getting a payday. I think that's what's going on. But
or he can take the 1 year and then become a free agent next year.
Exactly.
So he can become an unrestricted free agent next year and just pick up his player option, and that'd be it.
And dip. So, now that what we were talking about Detroit earlier on the wearing down the Cade scenario, I still think that's a huge issue with them that they need to somehow figure out. I like some of the young guys that they have on there. They don't have Isaiah Stewart anymore, which only serves the need to get Jalen Duren back even more. Um,
They picked up Isaiah Joe.
yes, which I do feel like that could be a really sneaky,
Yeah,
sneaky bench player for them.
I,
He's
I I
nice.
think he may be a starter.
Could be just because of the shooting prowess from
Yeah,
him. He can definitely light it up. So it's interesting. There's a lot of variables on that, but I still feel like definitely I feel like Detroit's still gonna be in there with the top teams. They play hard, they play defense, and Cade is that guy. He's
Cade
that
is
guy.
hated, man. Yeah.
It's a yeah, he's that guy. That's all I can really say about him. Yeah, Detroit's my number two.
Okay. I had Philly at 2.
Okay.
Like, I mean, we discussed Philly already. Just to recap on what I said, I think LeBron is just going to be a point guard. He's going to run that offense so smoothly come second half of the season, and it can easily be Philly and the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals. I can definitely see that. Just because you got the LeBron factor. If LeBron was not on Philly, I still had Philly in my top 5, just because my respect for JB and how much I love Maxi's game. So just LeBron took them over the top. Um, he all he does is win, right? So he's gonna come and bring that winning mentality there. And I think they're solid at number 2.
I like that. I like Philly at number two too. I think our number ones are probably the same.
Yeah,
So I'm going with the Knicks
New York
as your
Knickerbockers.
yeah, as your number one seed. Um, you have to. They won the
Yeah,
champ. They did it in the best way possible. Um, they didn't get rid of anybody other than
they're
Mitchell
bringing the same team
Robinson.
back, except for Mitchell
Yeah.
Wright. They're bringing the same team back, man. This team is a well-oiled machine, man. Yeah.
Hey, and let's also take note of this. We might get a level higher Jalen Brunson this year now.
100%.
This
Jalen Brunson, we might get a level high Josh Hart, and that's
y
scary.
yeah.
Just let Josh Hart start popping off. All right.
Yeah, this is now a team with confidence. They know they won. They know they can
Hey,
win.
they're the defending champs, man. They could talk that
Yes.
talk.
Yes, there's just gonna be a different energy flowing through Madison Square Garden this season. Um, and the fans are, as of course, they're gonna be insane this year now. Uh, so yeah, the Knicks are still the team to beat in the East right
Oh,
now.
a fun fact. 3 of the Knicks starting 5 are familiar with repeating. They did it in the college level.
Oh yes.
So listen, this isn't new to them. Okay, they know how to keep the foot on the gas.
Yep.
So I don't see any slowing down from Jalen Brown. If anything, he's going to be hungrier. But
That's
now
how
he
I
doesn't
feel
have
too.
that chip on his shoulder where everyone thought that
Yes.
he couldn't do it. Now that he did it, I just think he's going to get better.
Yeah.
I think Jalen Brunson's so good, and I think he's so durable. And there's no way that this team does not make it to the Eastern Conference Finals again.
Yeah.
And
I'm
and,
with
and I'm having a hard time seeing any team that we just mentioned beat them in a 7-game series. Even my Celtics. We don't have enough. Celtics don't have enough to beat Philly or the Knicks right now. So I easily see the Knicks back into the NBA Finals.
yeah. It's kind of hard to argue against that. Just off of everything they've proven and still with the same team that they have. I mean, it's still a hard team to beat. Uh, yeah, Jalen Brunson, he's a one man army, bro. Like
Hey, but there is a team that was not there last year that will be there this year that beat them the year before, and that is your Indianapolis Pacers.
hmm
Okay, the Knicks got to get that get back
yeah.
because they beat them. They were the last team to beat them in the playoffs.
Yep.
So, and that Indy team is coming back
Oh man.
just about the same, minus Miles Turner, but you've added Zubac, and they know how to beat Jalen Brunson. They did it before,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
With
this should be interesting.
I do hope the Indiana Pacers get in the playoffs because that's a
Oh,
series I want to see.
that's the one we're looking out for because
Yeah.
the Indiana Pacers, in my opinion, they don't respect the Knicks as champions because they didn't beat them.
Yeah.
They had a down season. They didn't beat them. They didn't beat that roster. The last time those two rosters met, Indy got the best of them.
Yeah.
So that's the only chip on the Knicks shoulder is that team, because they got to go through them, and I think Indy's going to be in the mix.
Nice, nice. So yeah, I'm with you on that one. That's gonna be, oh man, I can't wait. Like I
It's gonna
said,
be so much fun.
I can't wait for the season. Um, this was a fun exercise too. I honestly, let's just say as host of the Final Point podcast, even with our differences in our rankings, we both still have better power rankings than Yahoo Sports. Let me just
Yeah,
say that.
they're some of those are delusional, man.
Every year, Yahoo Sports and ESPN, it's like they grab a person that watches cricket daily and say, "Hey, can you rank these NBA teams for us?" Because every time I look at them every year, they're always like mind-boggling, just insane. So, just to say here on the Final Point podcast, we have more realistic power rankings than ESPN and Yahoo Sports.
Yeah, we do.
Tune in next episode.
Where
To,
we do the Western power rankings.
yes. All right, guys. That's all we have for you guys today. We'll talk to you later on the next episode. Peace.